I'm currently facing a deeply unsettling situation, one that revolves around my family's expectations and ongoing financial disputes in my marriage. What should be my rightful inheritance is slipping away, overshadowed by my husband and his mother's relentless pursuit of wealth. You might think inheriting from your own family would be a given, but for me, it's turning into an elusive dream. My husband and his mother have become fixated on money to the point where they even lay claim to my late father's hard-earned legacy, a notion I find absolutely unforgivable. Each day, my determination grows stronger. I refuse to let their greed consume me. Allow me to introduce myself. I'm Diana, a 40-year-old woman, navigating a 14-year marriage while balancing family obligations and a demanding career. My husband, Henry, 42, works at a supermarket near the station, where our lives first crossed paths when I was in university. We began dating casually while I worked part-time at that same supermarket, eventually marrying when I was 23. Our family now includes our son, Liam, who just started his university journey this spring. While I've always committed myself to fulfilling my roles as wife and mother, there's a growing undercurrent of tension: Henry's reckless spending habits. While he has every right to spend what we've earned, his constant demands for more money, coupled with his secrecy, have strained our finances. Whenever we try to discuss money, particularly in front of his parents, it turns into a battleground. My resistance to their incessant requests often sparks heated opposition. Tensions flare whenever Liam's grandparents visit, and he, just like me, tends to retreat from the drama. Recently, Liam revealed something that deepened the emotional strain. He had caught his father being unfaithful. This revelation shattered me, leaving me heartbroken rather than angry. Yet, Liam's support has given me the strength to consider confronting Henry before making any final decisions. Just as I was grappling with how to approach this delicate matter, an unexpected situation unfolded. Henry and his parents showed up at our house unannounced. What seemed like a casual visit quickly took a turn when my husband proposed an extravagant trip to Hawaii, casually mentioning he needed $8,000 for the plan. The frustration I'd been holding back surged, and I seized the opportunity to confront them, not just about their relentless financial demands, but also about my husband's betrayal. The room fell into stunned silence as my accusation hung in the air. Henry denied everything, questioning why proof was even necessary and defending his innocence. I countered, telling him that our son had seen him entering a hotel with another woman. He tried to discredit Liam as a witness, which made me hesitate, not wanting to drag my son further into this mess. To my disbelief, my mother-in-law downplayed the infidelity, brushing it off as something normal and suggesting that I should simply overlook it. I was appalled that she, as a woman, could dismiss such behavior so easily. Despite the emotional chaos, the conversation quickly shifted back to their financial request for the Hawaii trip, as though the betrayal was nothing more than a minor distraction. The combination of their ongoing financial demands and the lack of moral accountability from my husband made it clear I had to end this marriage. I calmly, but firmly, declared that we would be divorcing. In response, my husband immediately threatened to claim my parents' mansion in the property division if we proceeded with the divorce. Just as the argument escalated, my phone rang, offering a brief reprieve. It was my uncle, my father's brother, with devastating news. My father had collapsed and was unconscious. Rushed to the hospital. I quickly informed my husband and his parents of the situation before rushing to the hospital myself. I was relieved to hear that my father had stabilized, though his health remained fragile. At 62, he had dedicated his life to our family business, working tirelessly to provide us with a comfortable life. The news of his sudden health crisis rattled me, forcing me to confront how irreplaceable he was in my life. A few days later, when he regained consciousness, I felt a momentary wave of relief, though it didn't last long. During a visit with my son, Liam, we shared a quiet moment of both relief and concern, but a subsequent call from the doctor revealed that my father's condition was far worse than we had hoped, the result of years of overwork. Tragically, he passed away shortly after, leaving me consumed by grief. Throughout this painful time, Liam remained a pillar of support. As an only child, I had to shoulder the responsibility of organizing the funeral, a task made all the more difficult by Henry's indifference. When my in-laws arrived for the funeral, they superficially expressed admiration for our family home, all the while showing an inappropriate curiosity about its value. After the memorial services, as I tried to come to terms with my father's passing, they paid us another visit. Despite the somber circumstances, their attention was disturbingly focused on the materialistic aspects of our life. with my mother-in-law particularly fixated on the size and grandeur of the house. Their insensitivity felt like an affront to our grief. As I was putting away funeral attire and attempting to gather myself, I received a call from my parents, who were on their way to visit. I was confused and anxious. What could they possibly want now? My apprehension grew as I braced for another conversation that would likely revolve around financial matters. Resolute to understand their intentions, I prepared myself for what was sure to be a difficult discussion. When they arrived, the atmosphere shifted immediately. My in-laws, who had tagged along, took their place on the sofa with satisfied grins, as if nothing had changed. The tension in the room heightened when Henry, out of nowhere, suggested that we move out of our large home and invite his parents to move in with us instead, proposing that we buy a new house together. Shocked, I reaffirmed my decision to proceed with the divorce, a choice I felt was necessary to settle my late father's affairs. Unfazed by the matters of his infidelity and our impending separation, Henry casually insisted that everything we owned, including my inheritance, should be split between us as spouses. His audacity, assuming entitlement to all of my inheritance, left me furious. Meanwhile, his parents discussed their room preferences in our potential new mansion, which only aggravated me further. I knew I had to protect my father's legacy, and I vowed not to let them exploit it. The boldness of Henry and his parents, treating my father's home and wealth as if it were rightfully theirs, had pushed me to my limit. A few days later, amidst this chaos, I received a call from my uncle. His calming words gave me some reassurance that I was handling things as best I could, despite the overwhelming challenges. However, the conversation took an unexpected turn when he mentioned he had urgent news to share. We arranged to meet that night, and what he revealed left me stunned. Determined to find a way forward, I confided in him about the outrageous demands of my in-laws. Outraged by their behavior, my uncle assured me he would help me navigate this difficult situation. The next day, I met with him, bringing Liam along. The goal was to prepare Liam for the difficult truth about his father and grandparents, to help him understand the challenging road ahead. Armed with a new plan, I called my in-laws over for a serious discussion about the possibility of all 6 of us living together in my family home. The proposal caught everyone off guard, but after they realized we were serious, my mother-in-law quickly warmed to the idea, eagerly imagining herself living in what she called a dream mansion. However, the excitement was short-lived. Reality set in when my father-in-law casually mentioned the cancellation fee for their planned trip, demanding reimbursement. Their blatant self-interest was overwhelming, and I was appalled by their greed. Yet my mother-in-law, unfazed, assured everyone that they would take care of the finances soon, dismissing any immediate concerns. After so many months of dealing with Henry and his parents' relentless pursuit of money, I had become numb to their schemes. But this time, their shamelessness struck a deeper chord, reminding me of the difficult road ahead in standing up to their manipulative tactics. Liam, who wasn't accustomed to their blatant greed, was visibly upset. I gently patted his shoulder, trying to reassure him that we would handle things together. As the conversation continued about the possibility of moving into my family home, I decided to play along, well aware that their expectations were far from realistic. Henry, pressing for more details, inquired about the logistics of the move. His tone was unusually sharp. Trying to ease the tension, I explained that Liam and I would go ahead first to prepare the house, emphasizing the magnitude of the task and that we needed to start early. Henry, however, expressed doubt about Liam's ability to handle such a responsibility, given his status as a student. I steered the conversation with skill, reassuring Henry that Liam was more than capable of managing his tasks. Despite Henry's lingering doubts over trivial matters, my mother-in-law remained blissfully unaware of the undercurrents, her excitement growing as the conversation shifted to the size of the mansion and the number of rooms. Seeing an opportunity, I suggested they could choose their rooms first and proposed a gradual approach to cleaning and organizing. Citing my busy work schedule, my measured responses seemed to placate their expectations, leaving them satisfied with what they thought was a small victory. Meanwhile, I held on to my own plan, one that would eventually challenge their presumptions and bring their lofty expectations down to reality. The moving day was scheduled for a month later, giving me ample time to strategize and adjust events to ensure fairness. I was filled with a mix of anticipation and determination as the decisive day drew nearer, the day when Henry and his parents would arrive. Believing they were about to take possession of their new home, Liam and I stood at the front entrance, prepared to meet them. Despite my husband's attempt at humor, I noticed the glint of excitement in my in-laws' eyes, unaware that their illusions were about to be shattered. As the gate opened, my uncle, my father's brother, emerged from the house. His presence was quiet yet imposing, and it was clear my husband barely recognized him from the funeral. My uncle wasted no time setting the record straight. He declared ownership of the house, revealing the truth about the inheritance distribution. The shock on my husband and in-laws' faces was unmistakable as they processed the reality of their misunderstanding. Though my uncle's explanations were firm, my husband attempted to maintain composure, trying to downplay the confrontation. But the tension escalated when Liam stepped forward, accusing his father of infidelity. The accusation struck like a thunderclap, and my husband's attempt to deny the truth crumbled when Liam revealed he had seen him entering a hotel with another woman, a suspicion I had long harbored, now confirmed. My husband, cornered and visibly shaken, denied everything. Liam, devastated by his father's betrayal, implored him to leave our lives for good. Despite the emotional weight of the moment, my in-laws remained fixated on financial matters, demanding a formal division of property. Their relentless pursuit of money, even in the midst of this personal turmoil, revealed their complete indifference to the pain they were causing. Then came the most astonishing revelation of all. My in-laws had given up their apartment and quit their jobs, fully expecting to indulge in a leisurely life at what they believed would be their family mansion. Even more shocking, my husband and father-in-law had also resigned from their jobs, intending to live off the inheritance they believed was rightfully theirs. I was taken aback by their reckless decisions and their presumption that my father's estate would be their personal fortune, but I stood firm, asserting my rightful claim as my father's daughter and demanding a fair distribution of his property. Fortunately, my uncle, who was also a lawyer, had been gathering evidence on my behalf. He revealed that he had uncovered my husband's infidelity through a month-long investigation, presenting undeniable proof. The shock on my husband's and in-laws' faces was palpable as they came to grips with the gravity of their errors. With my uncle's legal expertise, I made it clear that any further discussions would need to be handled through the courts. I told them to never contact me again, and despite the brief, hostile glance from my husband, they left without further incident. I felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude toward my uncle for his crucial support. Following the legal proceedings, Liam and I moved into the family home, fulfilling my father's wishes. I felt an immense sense of gratitude for this opportunity to live in a place filled with cherished memories. Liam, inspired by his uncle's example, dedicated himself to his studies with the goal of becoming a lawyer. Meanwhile, my ex-husband and his parents struggled to adapt to their new reality. They found themselves scrambling to secure new jobs and settle into an old apartment. The consequences of their actions were unfolding in real time, and the financial strain on my ex-husband became evident when he reached out for help. But I had severed ties completely, and I declined to offer any financial support, reinforcing the boundaries I had established. As my ex-husband tried to adjust to his new life, taking on part-time and day jobs, their earlier scheme to finance a non-existent luxury trip began to unravel, further exposing the extent of their deceit. Relieved from the burden of their manipulations, I was finally able to focus on my career. With my eyes set on the future, I eagerly anticipated seeing Liam graduate from college, proud of the resilience we had shown in overcoming such immense challenges and determined to start anew.